And now, friends, on this holy day, let us gather in peace and unity as one before the grace and grandeur of life, as children before its great and loving mystery. In this hour, may we know anew the holy joy of human lives growing together, so that this hour will imbue all those to come with those same sacred gifts. Come, let us worship together. And the words of our chalice lighting this morning come from the pen of the poet Stephen Peterson. This is his poem titled Advent. Around December 1st, the summer people have all gone. Some had stayed to see the fall, and some for hunting season. All have gone. We walked deserted roads. The first snows came but dried away to traces in the ditch and snowy patches on the forest floor. In town, the Christmas lights are blinking bright. The tourists few, the locals are subdued, at peace with what some still call Advent time. It's dark by 4. We light a fireplace fire. We have a drink and share a meal and read until it's time to go to early bed. Outdoors to fetch tomorrow's wood, I stand beneath the stars. It's moonless, clear and cold. The constellations reach like outspread hands. Star bright, but not at all a silent night. There seems to be a constant trembling. Someone's surely there. Someone almost here. And now, on this Hanging of the Green Sunday, we're pleased to have our annual carol sing. Our thanks to our musicians and music ministry volunteers for providing us with these carols to sing along with. You'll see lyrics on your screen for each one, and you can sing along at home with either the hymn leader or the accompanist. Now let us sing our carols on this Hanging of the Green Sunday. We start with Angels We Have Heard on High.
Angels we have heard on high, sweetly singing o'er the plains, and the mountains in reply, echoing their joyous strains. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Shepherds, why this jubilee? Why these songs of happy cheer? What great brightness did you see? What glad tidings did you hear? Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Whom the angels praise above, Mary, Joseph, lend your aid, while we raise our hearts in love. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gloria in excelsis Deo.
And thank you to Candace Hedberg for leading us in Angels We Have Heard on High. Next, we will sing Deck the Halls. That was Victoria Chow playing for us. Thank you, Victoria. And next, let us continue with Within the Shining of a Star, number 238.
Within the shining of a star, we catch a glimpse of who we are. In every infant born we see the hope of our nativity. The miracle of each new birth can shake and save the stony earth. Triumphantly the newborn's cry strikes echoes from the waiting sky.
Thank you very much, Herb Foster. Next, number 239, Go Tell It on the Mountain. Thank you again, Victoria, for playing the music for Go Tell It on the Mountain. Our next carol is In the Bleak Midwinter, number 241.
In the bleak midwinter, frosty wind made moan, earth stood hard as iron, water like a stone. Snow had fallen, snow on snow, snow on snow. In the bleak midwinter, long ago, Christ, a homeless stranger, so the gospel say, cradled in a manger and a bed of hay. In the bleak midwinter, stable place sufficed. Mary and her babe is born again.
And we close our carol sing with It Came Upon the Midnight Clear. This was written by Edmund Sears, who was a Unitarian pastor in Wayland, Massachusetts in the mid-19th century or so.
It came upon the midnight clear that night a song of old, from angels bending near the earth to touch their harps of gold. Peace on the earth to all goodwill, from heaven the news we bring. The world in solemn stillness lay to hear the angels sing. Still through the cloven skies they come, with peaceful wings unfold, and still their lovely music floats o'er all the weary world. Above its sad and lonely plains, they bent on hovering wing, and ever o'er its babble sounds the blessed angels sing. But with the woes of war and strife, the world has suffered long. Beneath the ancient strain have rolled 2,000 years of wrong. And we who fight the wars hear not the love song which they bring. Oh, hush the noise of battle strife, and hear the angels sing. For now the days are hastening on, by prophet bards foretold, when with the ever-circling years comes round the age of gold, when peace shall over all the earth its ancient splendors fling. And oh, world, give back the song which now the angels sing.
It was common growing up in our house to have to set up the Christmas tree several times over the course of the season. We would get it in the stand and string the lights and wrap it in tinsel and hang the ornaments, and it would look lovely. This was usually soon after Thanksgiving. And then over the course of the weeks that would follow, my siblings and I would go to school and our parents to work, or it would be the weekend and we'd be out doing things. And we'd come back home to find the tree toppled, with ornaments strewn about the living room and sometimes the lights not even working. No, we had not been robbed. There had not been an earthquake. This was in rural Pennsylvania, where such things are rarities. We didn't live near any train tracks where big locomotives might steam by and shake our home and knock the tree over. No, the culprit was from within. Our lovable and loyal dog, Abby. officially named Leicester's Lady Abigail, so that she would be associated with my maternal grandfather, who himself would come to be associated in loving memory with his great-grandson, my son, John, whose middle name is also Leicester. I promised that the Leicester in my son's name is for his maternal great-grandfather, not his sort of dog uncle. Abby was a boxer, strong and sturdy, cuddly and beautiful, but also fierce in defense of her kids, me and my siblings. And she loved to sleep underneath the Christmas tree. And she would sleep so soundly that when she woke up, she'd forget where she was and stand straight up and knock the tree over again and again and again. We tried tying the tree to the wall, and Abby would still knock it over. We'd remove the festive holiday tree skirt so that it wasn't quite as comfy underneath it. Abby didn't care. We'd pack things underneath the tree so that there was no room for her to sleep there. She'd just nose in and wiggle her way around and fall asleep again, only to stand up after her very sound slumber and knock the tree over and over again. It got to the point where we sort of expected the tree to be knocked over when we returned from any sort of outing. Whoever came home would just right the tree and start putting the ornaments back up. We decorated the tree many, many times a season during the Abby years. Abby was always nowhere to be found when that part happened. She'd sort of tuck herself away knowing that she had made a mess. But as soon as the tree was back up, she'd start nosing around underneath it again. And we knew that when we next left the house, she'd be back under that tree, sleeping soundly. Sometimes an ornament was broken, and that was okay. Sometimes a light strand needed to be replaced, and that was okay too. Something about our love for Abby and her love for us and the meaning of the season that the tree celebrated seemed to take the edge off the whole thing. The tree would be knocked over many, many times, and that would be okay. Often, when things don't go as planned, they still turn out okay. And once on the other side of the mess, they can even be remembered with, if not appreciation, maybe at least some wisdom, even a little joy that can lend us a kind of strength when we face the next mess in life. I try to remember our dear Abby, who has long since crossed the Rainbow Bridge every December when the pace and expectations of everything begin to wear down the spirit. Our collective joy and peace are often at odds with what we feel must be done and feel obliged to do during this busy and hectic month. And we often carry with us expectations of how things should be that will not be met by how things actually turn out. Trees will fall, no matter how well we stand them, no matter how strong their anchors. This can make less vibrant and beautiful the season of joy and peace because we may focus on how things didn't turn out as we wished. In this, we may miss the magic of the unwished-for blessing, the gifts of life and love and laughter that we never could have planned for but came to us anyway, the meal that turned out to be awful but a lot of fun, the travel that was difficult but negotiated, the party that went awry but was memorable, the forgotten lines in the Christmas skit, or the solo that goes off, or even the incessant hearing of that holiday song that you kind of love to hate. Joy and memory abide in these blips of imperfection too. Laughter lives there, even if not in the moment. Life is there, a beautiful life, not of perfection, but of messiness and satisfaction. The stale predictability of perfection is always bound to disappoint us, partly because it's so often unrealizable, partly because its pursuit is so anxious, and partly because even when it's attained, it's often at a disproportionate cost, which makes its beauty fade away quickly. Life, however, with its toppled trees and broken lights and a snoring dog who will make it all happen again, bears a certain festive and freeing messiness that is in the end to be cherished. Many of our celebrations may not be what we expected. They may not even be how we want to celebrate again next year, but sometimes things fall over, and when they do, we can leave them that way or let our hearts fill with frustration, or we can sigh and smile and set things back as best we can. And when the soft, grizzled girl with the deep brown eyes and gentle spirit comes back our way, we can scratch her behind the ears as she leans against our legs, eyeing that tree, knowing full well the loving mischief that she'll cause again soon. Trees can fall down and we can let that ruin things, or they can fall down and we can refuse to let that turn us from hope and beauty and joy. We can, with humor and resilience, turn back toward those sacred gifts, name them, and call them into being, which makes them even more real. And then we can celebrate in new and adapted ways their presence in our lives. Such is our call this season, and such will be our gift as we find joy, peace, and love in each other, in the fallen tree, and in the ones that we restand and gather around and sing anew. May it be so, and amen. And we will now enjoy our closing hymn. Please sing along to Joy in the World. Joy to the World. And after our benediction, we invite you to stick around online for a time of fellowship and conversation and connection with one another. Go forth in joy and hope, bearing the greenery of life in your heart, adorning the world with your love and sharing your light with all. Seek wonder, be amazed, and sing loudly of beauty and blessings and universal grace in this season of joy. Go in peace, and amen.